All right. Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Spare Crime Podcast. My name is Beau, and with me, as always, is my co-host Gabe.
Hi,
Gabe,
I'm Gabe.
how are we doing?
We doing?
We're doing it. We are doing the thing. That is not what I meant. All right, we're off to a great start already. We're not even a minute into this recording, but here we are. How was your week, man?
It was a week. Work is work.
Yeah,
Heat sucks.
Yep. That definitely. Yeah, I get it. I just started a new job. That's been pretty interesting so far. But we're on to part 2 of our series on John Wayne Gacy. Last week we kind of dove into his early life and like his early kind of crimes before he started his killing spree. The previous, arrest and the clearing of his record and all that good stuff. So we're just gonna go ahead and dive right in and start off and into the more of a story with Gacy.
And forgive us if we're a little rusty on like what we remember from last week's episode, because again it's been a week since we recorded.
Yeah, it's been a week. We're here though.
It's been a year.
Shut up. So let's start this off. So 1971, with financial assistance from his mom, Gacy would purchase a house on 8213 West Somerdale Avenue. This house would be the house that he would commit his infamous crimes of killing the 33 people.
I thought his infamous crimes were being the Colonel.
The Colonel?
Yeah.
No, I don't think the Colonel had too many infamous crimes, other than leaking the 11 secret herbs and spices.
Other than the chicken they sell.
Yeah, the chicken they sell.
I'll be a D1 hater of KFC.
Yeah. I get that. In August 1971, Gacy would get engaged to one Carol Hoff.
Is that his second wife?
Second wife, yes. This is his second wife.
How far of a gap are we between the stuff happening with the
divorce?
No, with the second kid.
Give me like 2 seconds. Not very. The second kid happened in February of 1971. He got re-engaged in August of 71. Yeah.
That's, dude, it's just a wild like time period that everything happened.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he's how old at this time?
Early 30s, maybe.
Dude,
if I were to assume.
That's whack.
Yeah. So Carol was an old high school flame that Gacy had while he was in school. Her and her 2 daughters would move in with him shortly after they got engaged, and they got married on July 1st, 1972. Gacy would have already started his killing spree before they were married. So while this new wife and her 2 kids are moving into this house, Gacy's already killing people.
When did he kill someone? Like,
I think his first kill was in 1971.
Was this like an assumed kill or like?
No, this was like the first confirmed. I believe it was 71 or 72.
Do we know anything on this person or?
Yeah, I have it in the research. It's down a couple of pages. Okay. But we'll get to that later. So eventually, Daryl. Gacy would tell Carol in 1975 that he was bisexual and they would not be intimate ever again. He would spend most of his time away from home, using late working hours or business meetings as excuses to not be home. Carol would find men's wallets when she confronted Gacy about finding men's wallets in the home. Gacy would tell her angrily that it's not any of her business, which is a very red flag if I've ever seen one, in my opinion.
Well, to start off, it's like, hey, I like guys and girls, but we ain't never sleeping together ever again. That's red flag. Then it's like, who are these dudes? Why do you have their wallets? And it's like, none your business. I know you my wife. None your business.
None your business.
Red flag.
Red flag. Big red flag.
And this red flag came with blue lights.
I don't get it.
Cop car.
Cop car. Cop. Yeah. So Carol would ask for a divorce in October of 1975.
Took her way too long.
Yeah, I think so too. And it would be finalized on March 2nd, 1976, which prompted Carol and her two daughters to move out. Now, they lived there for a couple of months after they got divorced until they finally moved back in with, I believe it was her mother is who they moved back in with.
Financial stability.
Yep.
And around then, divorce was kind of a, like, very big, like, bad stigma and stuff.
Yeah. So Gacy would establish a part-time construction business in 1971. I know I'm kind of jumping around here a little bit. It was called PDM Contractors, which stood for Painting, Decorating, and Maintenance. Now,
Should have been PDF.
Nice. Which, if you ask me, is probably the most uncreative name for a company I've ever heard. PDM, Painting, Decorating, and Maintenance.
Dog,
there's something more clever you could come up with.
I was on a job site. Take it. I do construction work. There's an AC company called Air and Conditioning.
That's it? Just air and conditioning?
Yes.
That's hilarious. While this construction company was a legit business, he would use it to cover for his crimes.
Yeah.
Which sounds about right.
I'm guessing alibi.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was for his alibi. While being part of a local moose club, which is a charity organization, Gacy would don the Pogo the Clown persona. Yes, that was the clown name. It was Pogo. It is not that funny, I promise you.
No, I'm just thinking of... For some reason, when you said Pogo the Clown, I imagine since he was the Colonel Sanders in a clown costume.
Pogo the Colonel?
Yeah.
Pogo the Colonel?
That's all I thought about.
Yeah.
Pogo the Colonel. You want to come to my basement?
Pogo
Like... Wild.
Pogo the Colonel. So...
You're going to do what to the Colonel?
I'm not going to do anything to the Colonel. Pogo would be the name synonymous with the infamy of John Wayne Gacy, eventually. I do want to point out, he didn't wear the clown costume when he killed people. I guess they just called him the Killer Clown because he dressed as a clown for kids. Which is a red flag as well. Nothing against clowns. I know, I
hate clowns.
I hate clowns too, don't get me wrong. But people gotta make a living, you know? And sometimes clowning around is what you gotta do. Oh my god.
But this was a killer clowning around.
Yes, it was like, yes. So most of his employees for this company would be high school students and young men.
Dog!
Usually...
How did we reach this point?
I don't know, man. He would usually use the guise of better paying jobs or promotions, which would eventually lure 33 young men to their deaths. In May 1975, I'm going to butcher this name. It's not going to be good. Gacy hired 15-year-old Anthony Antonucci. Gacy ended up in his home where they both drank a bottle of wine before Gacy would wrestle Antonucci to the ground, handcuff his hands behind his back. Eventually, during that night, Antonucci would free his arm while Gacy left the room. When he returned, Antonucci would grapple with Gacy, obtain the key to the cuffs. He would handcuff Gacy's hands behind his back. Antonucci would eventually uncuff Gacy and leave, or made him leave. He worked for 9 more months under Gacy's supervision before leaving the company.
Dog!
After that situation. I guess the money is the reason why.
I guess
Because it was a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And he needed the money. So that's probably the only reason why.
And you said
stayed.
he offered them pretty good money for their jobs, didn't they?
Well, that was like the ruse he would use to get people to come with him. That, oh, I'll pay you more, or oh, I'll promote you in my company if you start working with me. Yeah.
I can think this man got away with all this.
Yeah.
No one like
for like 6 years. Yeah.
Again, I think it starts with the first 2 kids. I think that was like the originally like the fake badge and all that, and then the car one. I think it all started with there.
Yeah. Because once he figured out that he could get away with those, so why not get away with everything else that I want to do, you know?
Yeah.
1975, Gacy was appointed as the director of Chicago's annual Polish Constitution Day parade. He was also there's a picture of John Wayne Gacy with First Lady Rosalind Carter, who was Jimmy Carter's wife.
Dog.
It's on the internet. Now I can imagine being either Jimmy Carter or Rosalind Carter and figuring out or finding out about what Gacy did, and there's a photo of you shaking hands with him.
Yep.
That's just everywhere. I bet that's a very awkward situation for the president and his wife to figure out, oh, this guy that was appointed as a director for something was a serial killer, and there's a picture of my wife standing with him, smiling, and nobody knew about it.
Can you imagine trying to rerun for president with that out there?
I mean, people have ran for president with worse. So.
But, like, it's a very well-known, like, that could be the first thing they throw out there, and you're like, you can't deny it.
Yeah, that's true. So, dang, I didn't realize that we were this far into the research. So we're on for context, we're on the 5th page, right? We're getting to the victims of Gacy now. So Gacy's usual MO would be luring a young man into his house, piling them with alcohol, or trying to gain their trust with the promise of work. He would bring out a pair of handcuffs to show them a trick, which, just like last episode, I'm doing the air quotations right next to my head. So just picture that.
Backflip time.
Backflip time. Benson Boone. Once the victim was cuffed, Gacy would torture and ultimately kill them with a makeshift rope tourniquet around their neck, and would progressively tighten it with a hammer. So I don't know if you know what a tourniquet knot is.
Yes.
But it's when you kind of cross the two, whatever it is, the rope or whatever you're using, and you put like a stick or a hammer or anything in it, and you twist it, and it tightens the thing. So that's what he would usually do. Apparently, he would also lodge stuff like cloths and underwear and pantyhose down the victim's throat to make sure they stayed dead, which is rough. It goes to show that this guy was just a twisted, sick individual who was clearly depraved of anything that a sane person would do. And that's putting that lightly.
Very lightly.
There's more words that I wish I could use, but I'm not going to use them because, you know, the Lord is watching. So on January 3rd, 1972, 16-year-old Timothy McCoy was lured by Gacy into his home after picking him up from a Greyhound bus terminal. Now here we are again with another Greyhound bus situation, except this one's going to turn out way worse than the other one. Gacy claimed that he woke up the next morning to see McCoy holding a knife in the doorway. Gacy would jump out of the bed and attack McCoy, wrestle him to the ground, and stab him multiple times in the chest. Now, the worst part about it is not saying that there isn't anything else worse than what I just said, because it gets worse. It gets worse. As McCoy was laying on the ground dying, Gacy would find out that McCoy had made breakfast for the two of them. So he made breakfast for the two of them, and I guess he had the knife in his hands after cooking, and walked into the doorway of Gacy's room, and Gacy sees him with the knife, and he was like, "Oh my God, he's about to kill me," and then ends up killing him. Which that's
wild.
That's I hate, like, I'm getting choked up talking about it. Like,
I hate it's a very lighthearted way to say it, but it's unfortunate because there was no malicious intent behind. There was a kid, right?
Yeah, 16-year-old.
The 16-year-old. There was no malicious intent behind all that was done, but unfortunately, due to the perspective of not Gacy, is it Gacy?
Gacy?
Gacy.
Yeah.
But due to the unfortunate perspective of Gacy's, you got to think that he had no good intentions with this kid to begin with.
No, he was a 16-year-old boy.
But I'm saying he had no good intentions.
No, not at all.
And he probably thought, if you think about it, he's probably like, oh shoot, he knows who I am, or oh, he's gonna kill me.
He knows what I've done.
He knows what I'm gonna do, and now he's defending himself. I have to kill him. Yeah.
And it's kind of funny that you say that. Not funny, but ironic. Yeah, last week you were talking about how you're not that very well versed in true crime stuff, but most of the stuff that you've said thus far has been pretty on the mark.
I don't like true crime.
And yet here we are doing a true crime podcast.
I don't know. You said want to start a podcast, and I was like, sure. And you're like, oh my gosh.
I was so happy about it. I'm gonna throw. Anyways, Gacy would bury McCoy in the crawl space under his house, and would cover the grave in concrete. So basically, what he would do after he killed his victim, he would just toss them into a crawl space and then bury it over with concrete.
Yeah.
Which is the ultimate disrespect, in my opinion, to do to somebody who has passed away.
Yeah. Well, it's just throwing them in a forgotten grave.
Exactly. Not even marked, nothing. In an interview several years later, Gacy would claim to have a quote-unquote mind-numbing orgasm after killing, and claimed that that's when I realized death was the ultimate thrill.
Also, for the viewers, if you hear me chuckling, it's not because I think it's funny, it's because it's baffling.
It's more of a disbelief as to what you're hearing.
It's also hard to keep a straight face when you hear mind-numbing orgasm.
I don't know why that was what he said. This guy clearly needs help.
Well, it's if you think about it, the reason he probably said it was because it obviously became a fetish for him, and that's the only way he could really get off.
Again, you with guessing about something and being right on the money about it, because that's what it was.
Well, it's
there was a sexual depravity in what he was doing, and it's a lot like, I'm trying to think of somebody. It's a lot like BTK. You probably don't know what BTK is. No. What he would do is he would kill his victims, and then he would masturbate over the corpses.
What the hell?
Yeah. We're gonna get into that one at some point.
Back to Gacy. What I felt like it was with him being a gay man and not being able to openly express it, because his dad didn't know, right?
I don't think anybody really knew. I don't think he really ever came out to anybody else other than his
victim. His second wife, technically. If you want to push a little medium, technically. But he never got, from late 70s, he never really got an outlet to express his sexuality. And after that first one, in a twisted sense, it kind of allowed him to express it.
And unfortunately for the other 32 victims,
they were his way to do it.
They were his way to do it.
It's a wild thing. And again, but with the whole fetish thing is it's kind of like the hardcore fetish thing. They can only get off if that certain thing is there, or the certain person's doing a certain thing. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of I think that's kind of why it was worded that way. That was kind of him discovering that he had that fetish for it. Was by committing it and realizing it, that's the way it made him feel, is why he described it that way.
And that's the case with most other serial killers. So Dahmer, BTK, Ted Bundy, Ed Gein, people like that. They find some sort of gratification from killing.
Yep.
Because they don't know how to express anything else.
And it becomes something that they become obsessive over.
Yep. There's a certain people call it like a frog demon or something like that, where it's like you can't keep it under control for so long until you get the urge to do it again.
Yeah.
So Timothy McCoy's body was identified. Sorry, in May 1986 through dental records, which is. I'm bad at math. Hang on.
Are we at like 17?
14 years.
Yeah.
It took 14 years to identify his body. His body was found in 1978, and it took almost 10 years after that to identify it.
So I know it's probably mentioned in the future, but did they just like, when they call Gacy, did they like search his house and find a body or something, or?
We'll get into that whenever he finally gets caught. I don't want to like spoil.
Yeah, you're good.
From there. Gacy's second victim was an unidentified male he killed around January of 1974. This body has yet to be identified. Still hasn't been identified. Which this happened in 1974. It is currently 2026.
You said it's an unidentified one?
Yep. There's 5 unidentified bodies.
It could have honestly been like a homeless teen or something.
It could have been. July 31st, 1975, 18-year-old John Butkovich was lured by Gacy.
Sorry.
Did you just laugh at his last name because it has the butt in it?
You said Butkovich.
Shut the hell up.
I'm sorry.
Butkovich was lured by Gacy into his home, where he offered him a drink and then conned him into allowing his hands to be cuffed, to which Gacy would then strangle Butkovich. Gacy would bury Butkovich in the crawl space, and his body was identified December 29th, 1978. So the thing about Butkovich is his father reported Gacy for suspicious behavior, but nothing was done about it.
Because this is the thing about it, though, is like, again, the man has sealed records. So when they go to pull something up, they can't check for repeated offenses.
Well, the weird thing that I saw whenever I was doing the research is that I think the first sodomy charge was still on his record, but they never looked at his record because they never looked into him until it was too late.
Yeah. And again, like, if you go by word of mouth around the area, oh, he's such a good guy.
Another thing I want to add is like the handcuff thing, the trick that he would show his victims. It was, I think there was one person that escaped from the handcuffs, and I think it was the Antonucci guy.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he was very, very lucky, because in all of the other cases, once he gets those handcuffs on you, you're screwed. It's done. There's nothing you can do. You're completely at his mercy. So with most of the victims, I couldn't really find that much information on them. So some of the descriptions will be
vague,
shorter than others. Not that much information. April 6, 1976, 18-year-old Daryl Sampson went missing. He was eventually murdered and buried in the crawl space. His body was identified on November 18th, 1979. On May 14th, 1976, this is where Gacy gets a little bit bolder. 15-year-old Randall Reffitt and 14-year-old Samuel Stapleton went missing. The two were close friends and were murdered on the same evening. Both were buried in the crawl space on top of each other. Stapleton was identified November 14th, 1979 through dental records, and Reffitt was identified on April 12th, 1979 through x-rays. So he switched up his usual MO. Usually it's just one person.
Yeah.
This time he has
two people.
2 victims in the same night, buried together. And it makes me wonder what changed for him to convince himself that I can go for 2 victims.
You said they were best friends, right?
They were close friends, yes.
My honest thought: do we know how they were like taken? Taken. Sorry.
No, it didn't really give me any information on that. It just said.
And they went missing on the same night.
They both went missing on the same day.
Honestly, they could have been hanging out together, and Gacy could have probably went to get one of them. And when he nabbed the first one, the second one could have seen him.
So he nabbed the other one to keep him from saying anything. Or they were both working for Gacy.
Yeah,
I couldn't find that information when I was doing my research, so I'm not entirely sure.
Is this the only time he's nabbed two people?
I don't think so.
But like it could have really been like they could have worked for him, and one of them thought Gacy was sketchy. Again, they could have been hanging out together, or if one went missing, Gacy could have been the suspect, and if they looked into him for a second time after a first charge, they could have went deeper into him.
Yeah.
He could have really just been trying something new for his weird fetish. He could have just had the thought to do it, because we know he's gotten off to it for one time. What if he had the thought of like, what if I double it and in some twisted way it makes me feel even better? Or
well, at this point, he's already killed 3 people.
Yeah, but I'm saying, what if I double it? Or it could have he could have been getting less of a rush. Yeah, less of a dopamine rush of it, and having less of a response after the third time.
Yeah.
Or I really want to speculate that it's because he went to nab one and the other caught him, or he's seen the other one.
Or maybe they were both working together with Gacy, and he ended up getting both of them to come into his house.
Mm-hmm.
After Gacy was captured, a neighbor would recollect hearing muffled screams, shouts, and cries for help emanating from a house adjacent to 8213 West Silverdale Avenue. So neighbors would hear a bunch of commotion coming from his house. And I guess they never said anything about
I'm not minding my business.
No, if I... Which is weird because back in the 70s, if somebody heard something wrong, usually...
You go help.
Now today it's different. People like to mind their own business.
Yep.
But if it was me in that situation, I'm just sitting at home, and I'm hearing screams coming from another house.
Either that,
I'm
or I'm
calling
moving.
the police.
I'm either calling the police, and if they don't do nothing, I'm moving. I'm gone.
I'm moving. I'm gone.
I'm not dealing with that.
It's crazy how much there was obvious signs.
How condemning it was, and he still didn't
get caught until 1978. It's crazy how they were.
He killed for what, 7 years?
6 years.
Yeah,
just about.
Dude, he should have been caught on the literally not even a year.
I mean, it's just crazy to me that there were so many signs that something shady was going on in that house, and nothing was done about it. Nothing was reported, and when it was reported, it was ignored by police, and which ultimately ends up biting them in the behind.
Yep.
Because of it.
Yep. And he's not doing anything with the JC Foundation anymore?
No, he still is. He's still doing all this charity work. He's still being this pillar of the community, still making himself look like to be a good guy. It's like what you said last week. He was a narcissist who cares about his image and would do anything to keep his reputation.
How?
But you know it's crazy how loud I'm talking right now because it's so frustrating to me. I'm actively getting heated about it.
It's just he got away with so much. Oh yeah, there were screaming in his house, and I'm minding my own business.
I was just watching the Today Show, bro.
If I went over there, the timer for my cake wouldn't go off.
What?
I'm saying just throwing a timer on and cooking something. I couldn't go over there, man.
I had cookies in the oven.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate the 70s. I hate this guy. I hate John Wayne Gacy.
Sharon, turn the TV up. The screams are happening again. How do you ignore that?
Why? Common sense tells you if you hear someone screaming. Now, look, I get it. You hear a scream, you're thinking, okay, let me go the other way and not deal with that.
No, but you're in your house and you hear
And it's
screaming
happening
coming from your
next
neighbor.
door.
We have the police for a reason.
Oh my god. All right, let's get back on track here. June 3rd, 1976, Gacy would kill 17-year-old Michael Bonin, who had disappeared while traveling from Chicago. So the 17-year-old was leaving Chicago.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because a lot can happen when you're traveling, especially when they couldn't really track people.
Yeah, because there wasn't like Life 360 in the 70s.
It was really pulling off crappy security footage and asking if you've seen this person.
Yeah. So he was strangled and buried underneath the crawl space. His body was identified on January 6, 1979. 10 days later, June 13th, 1976, Gacy would kill 16-year-old William Carroll. He was buried in the crawl space shortly thereafter. Carroll was the first of 4 victims between June 13th and August 6th. Carroll was identified on March 17th, 1979 through dental records. August 5th, 1976, Gacy would kill 16-year-old James Hackinson. Hackinson died from strangulation. His body was identified on July 19th.
And Carroll was a dude, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
July 19th, 2017. I just want that to sink in for you real quick. 2017. He was killed in 1976. Can you imagine being the family? His parents probably passed away not knowing what happened to their kid.
That's wild.
It's a terrible thought.
And this was just them digging them up, weren't they? And like sifting through records to find them, weren't they?
Looking through X-rays, dental records, anything that they could possibly get. I don't even think they could get DNA. I was just about to say DNA. I don't even think they could get the DNA because of how decomposed the bodies were.
Because it's like you said, most of them were found out through dental records.
Yeah, dental records and X-rays.
And I think that's the reason there were 5 unidentified.
Yeah.
Is I think again, if you catch someone traveling or a homeless person who never went to the dentist, that you know what I mean, and it was an easy target for him.
August 6, 1976, literally the next day, Gacy would kill 17-year-old Rick Johnson by strangulation. His body was identified on January 1st, 1979.
So that was a back-to-back murder, right?
Back-to-back, quite literally. The day after he killed Hackinson, he kills Johnson.
That really, to me, like, makes me think about the whole, like, fetish killing thing. Because as you start, it seemed like as he started to do it more and more, it started to become not enough for him. I think either that or he just grew bolder and bolder.
I think it was he got a sense of normalcy from it, is what I think it was.
It could have.
I don't think it has to do with like the depravity of his sexual desires. I think it has to do with he's obsessed with killing, and he is just itching to do it again.
I think in a sick way too, is it boosted his ego.
Yeah,
that he done it. I
can agree with that.
He done it
again. A guess, and you're right on the money. Y'all couldn't see it. Gabe just like threw up jazz hands. I don't know how else to describe it other than that. Why?
I don't know. But like, cause he again, it really stems from him getting away with the first 2 kids that he went after in the cars.
Mm-hmm.
Like right after he got out. Because he got away, and then he got away. Then he killed. Then he got away again. Then he got away again. Then he killed 2 people. Then he got away and got away. Then now he's back to back. It's boosted his ego. He's like, oh, I'm so good at this. I can just keep getting away with it.
Yeah.
It's just so wild. The one dude we suspect, nah. Oh, he has previous charges? Nah. Oh, there's screaming coming from the neighbor's house? Nah. Why didn't we do anything?
Why did I think of like the Family Feud X noise? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, this guy has records. Oh, multiple kids disappearing. Oh, we should check on this guy, right? Like, dude,
Come on.
it was all right there. All his evidence was there.
Literally handed to them on a silver platter, and they did nothing with it.
And they threw it in the trash.
I hate the police. The 70s.
To an extent.
To an extent. Between August and October of 1976, 2 unidentified males would be killed by Gacy. Their bodies have yet to be identified, which is great. Not great, but damn.
It's also wild to think is because we know that do we at least know like they were like teenagers or something or
no?
But we can assume we can
probably
off of context.
His usual MO was teenagers and younger boys.
So like it's just kind of wild to think because you've got to wonder how old were they? Were they like 17? Because how do we know how old his like oldest victim was?
His oldest victim was 21.
So we know somewhere from a range of what 21 to like 12, 13.
So later in the research, I have a note where it says his youngest and oldest victim. His oldest was 21, and his youngest was 14.
Yeah, so we know that like young as 14, that unidentified could be from 21 to 14.
Yep.
And that to me is such a wild thing of like, again, they're unidentified. We don't know if they were traveling. We don't know, again, if they were homeless. We don't know, like, it's just such a broad spectrum of, like, who out there was missing their kid. You know what I mean?
Mm. And I'm sure there were plenty of missing persons cases in Chicago. I can't remember what the exact number was, but there was a very big number.
Chicago.
In Chicago at the time, because Chicago's a pretty big city.
Yeah. And with big cities come big crime and stuff. Yep. It's just you cram a lot of people together and bad stuff's bound to happen.
People are going to go missing.
Yeah. And again, you couldn't really track people back then, and even though nowadays we still lose people.
Mm-hmm. October 24th, 1976, Gacy would kill 2 friends. Again, he's upping it to 2 people. Kenneth Parker and Michael Marino. Both bodies were buried in the crawl space, and both bodies were identified on March 29th, 1980, through dental records and radiology images. So both of their bodies were identified on the same day.
It's just, it's the thought of like, when he had 2 people, would he do the same thing? Or that just makes me curious how it would go down.
I think what it was is he would have one of them in a different room, kill one of them, and then kill the other one.
But like, it's because we know he was charismatic.
Yeah.
And it's a thing to wonder how he separated people. Or again, even if he had some twisted thing of making one of them watch or something.
Honestly, I wouldn't put it past him.
Because that's my thought.
I feel like that's probably what he did.
That was my thought, was like, if he got 2 people, I don't think he'd really push past his whole like MO. Mm-hmm. I don't think it would really be to separate them. I feel like it would be to, in a twisted way, have one of them watch their friend die and then do the next one.
Yeah, that's
because it's more like suffering and torment, and that was his thing, was making them suffer.
He would torture them before he killed them. So I guess it kind of makes sense that if he were to kill one of them while the other victim was in the room with them, and really show them like, hey, there's no escaping what's about to happen to you.
You know,
I don't doubt it.
That kind of makes me think too about the neighbor thing, is like to put it into a perspective. I thought of it, and like, there's a genuine fear to report someone screaming next door.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what if you send the cops over there and Gacy just has a big, oh, I stubbed my toe and I screamed, and now you're like, my neighbors are reporting me, I should go check up on my neighbors.
I guess that's a good point.
Because if you like there's stuff like it's happening, but you can't prove it type of thing.
It's like the dude from Dexter. You know what I'm talking about?
Dokes.
I've
never watched Dexter. I've watched it all through like YouTube shorts.
Great show.
But it's just one of those things like, and when you eventually call too much, the police are going to start blowing it off.
Yeah, they're going to stop believing you.
And you can't do anything. And say you walk in on him killing someone, what's he going to do to you? Mm. And we already see that the police aren't going to do anything about it.
I hate that. It still bothers me so much that they had so much probable cause.
And they didn't
search his house. And they never searched him.
Hey guys, we have a video of him stabbing someone, but we can't prove it to him.
Ugh. On October 26, 1976, 2 days... Wait, what?
What are you reading?
Oh, sorry. So 2 days after the murder of Parker and Marino, 19-year-old William Bundy, who was working for Gacy, was murdered after telling his family that he was attending a party.
Bundy is a wild name to pop up, though.
Because of Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there's not like any correlation.
No correlation, of course.
I just think it's like interesting how random tangent, how people can have like the same last name, but they're not even related.
Yeah.
Or like they're not even in the same lineage or anything.
His body was identified on November 29th, 2011. So not until 2011.
2011?
2011.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
What it's really tragic is a lot of these younger dudes, is their parents probably never even knew.
Never knew what happened to them.
Yep. That they just disappeared or like.
Ran away from home.
Oh, mom, dad, I'm like the one kid. Oh, I'm going to travel to Chicago or from Chicago. And just never heard of him again.
Yeah. And I guess that was common back in those days because there wasn't that many ways to contact people. There weren't smartphones in the 70s.
Or
so
like,
if a teenager decided that they were going to run away from home, they probably wouldn't hear from their parents again. Between November and December of 1976, 21-year-old Francis Alexander was killed. His last contact was a phone call to his mother. I believe it was from a payphone. His body wasn't identified until October 25th, 2021. So that's recent.
Cow.
5 years ago is when his body was identified.
Dude.
And it was like I was saying earlier, for the one that was identified in 2017, their parents would probably pass away. There was a possibility that the parents, and if he had siblings.
This is like 70s, 80s, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough. Gacy's final kill in 1976 was 17-year-old Gregory Godzik. On December 12th, 1976, Godzik was killed by Gacy. He had told his parents he was going to Gacy's house to dig up trenches, and they never heard from him again. When Gacy was contacted by Godzik's sister, he told her that he had run away and he wasn't coming back home. Nothing was followed up on, even with the tip of Gacy's possible involvement.
What?
Godzik's body was identified on December 29th, 1978.
What? I don't know exactly how the conversation went down. I don't know how things went down. I don't know how that call went. But there has to be some suspicion with, I was going to this guy's house, but now we know our son's going. Okay?
And then he ends up missing.
And then he tells us, he said he was running away. I didn't try to stop him. He just ran away. He said he was running away. We're not gonna look further into that.
We're not elaborating more on that.
But we also don't know how his home life was.
No, we don't. But at the same time, still, I would assume it's good because his sister had called Gacy and asked him about her brother.
If she was around, how old was the kid that got murdered?
17.
17. So you don't know his sister could have been. Do we know her age?
No, didn't find that in the research.
But she could have been 13 or something. She could have been around the same age.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. The parents could have been pieces of crap. They could have not really cared for their kid. And it was common for kids to run away. So the parents could have thought, oh, he'll be back, or, you know, they could have not cared for him. There's a lot of factors that play into a lot of these murders that he got away with.
I mean, either way, even if, like, for example, even if I didn't have a good relationship with my kid, if they end up missing, and I never hear from them again, I'm gonna be worried. I'm gonna try to figure out what happened to them.
But again, there's still parents who really don't care for their kids. They don't care what they do.
Not saying that they are. We're just kind of speculating here. But
it's speculation. It's all speculation because again, there's a lot of factors that go into a lot of his murders, like playing his cards right or catching the right kid that was naive enough to come back to his place with him.
Finding the prime opportunity to be able to nab a kid off the streets.
Because that's what it seemed like.
Luring them, which is what he always did with his victims, is he would lure them with the promise of work. Pay, promotions.
Work, promotion, alcohol, or wine, or whatever you want to say. I'd say alcohol, broad spectrum.
Yeah.
It really ties back to when he was the managers of the KFC
with the basement club.
Yeah, it kind of seems like that's where he developed most of his like charismatic charms and the way to lure people in. Really,
I guess because he had that experience with the JCs as well.
Yeah, and
the charity programs.
He had that in a sense of freedom to experiment. Really, if you look at it, he could test what did work and what didn't work for him to get victims and lure people in. And with the female coworkers at the KFC of the young girls, he also found out what to do to not seem like creepy or like, oh, I'm not doing this in a creepy way, you know, we click better type of thing.
Well, that's the thing. He never really went for the basement club thing that he did back in I believe it was the 60s. He didn't really talk to the females.
Yeah.
He only talked to the males. I'm going to get kind of back on track through the timeline here. March 15th, 1977, 20-year-old John Prestridge was killed by Gacy. His body was identified on January 6, 1979. His cause of death wasn't determined. It's speculated that he was more than likely strangled, like the other victims. He was last heard from when telling his family that he was getting work from an independent contractor. The contractor was speculated to be John Wayne Gacy.
See, that kind of... To think about that one is like... Maybe he found something he wasn't supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
The dude who was killed, maybe he found something he wasn't supposed to. No, about Gacy or something?
I think it was just...
Or Gacy was just going after him to try something new?
No, I think... Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. I think it was just the same MO as usual.
'Cause like...
handcuffs, rope around the neck, tourniquet, knot. And then...
Yeah, but it's kind of out of his nature so far.
To not be able to... are you saying that...
Age-wise.
Age-wise.
Like, all the people he's went after is, what, 17, 18?
17,
17 and under.
I mean, I think it was Francis Alexander. He was the 21-year-old, wasn't he?
But he was after, wasn't he? Or was he before?
No, he was before. That was in December of 1976. This one is March of 1977.
I did not catch the age of the 21-year-old,
yeah.
I'll be honest. But it's kind of weird that he went for, like, older dudes. You know what I mean? After going for younger people through, like, out his killing history.
I guess it's because of how much older he was getting, but I'm not entirely sure.
It could have been, like, in a weird way of, like, say, like, I've met, like, 40-year-olds who consider 20-year-olds, like, oh, that's, like, a kid to me.
Hmm.
And, like, 60-year-olds who see, like, 30 and 40-year-olds as, like, oh, they're younger than me. They're, like, a kid to me still.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, like you said, it was maybe as he got older, his perception changed in a twisted way of what he considered, like...
a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Like, in a weird, like, sick, twisted sense, it went from, like, this is a child, and now that age is like a baby to me.
Mm.
And then now you have the 20-year-old and 21-year-old where he's like, those are now like children to me.
Right.
Because he would be towards his 40s now, wouldn't he?
I believe so, yes. Bleh. Goodness gracious. Bro.
Throw the Mad Libs out.
Trying, man. I'm trying. One unidentified male, there we go, was killed in the spring or early summer of 1977. On July 5th, 1977, 19-year-old Matthew Bowman was last seen by his mother at a train station before he was killed by Gacy. His body was identified on January 29th, 1979. He was found with the rope tourniquet that was used to kill him around his neck. He was one of the first bodies to be identified.
So he wasn't the last kill, was he?
No.
Or he's towards the end of it?
We are nowhere near the end.
It's weird that he would throw the rope in with the body, in a sense.
I guess he would wear gloves whenever he would strangle them, so no prints would show up. But even then, he would pour concrete over them, and that would kind of more than likely erase any prints that were left on it.
Well, the whole, like, concrete thing you gotta think about, in a long sense, is a very easy thing to be like, oh no, I renovate, or there's cracks in the slab, or, you know, I need to pour a little more in there, or it's weathered away. So the concrete thing it's not too wild of a concept that he done it. Because there's a lot of excuses you can throw towards concrete. Oh, I keep pouring it wrong and it keeps messing up, or it eroded, or, you know what I mean? There's a lot you can, and him buying concrete and basically owning a small business where he's like a construction place. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was the good way for, like, I say good, but it's like a smarter way. It was a smarter way for him to get away with buying the concrete and everything without getting traced back.
Not to call him smart, because I hate.
No, I'm saying it's like a smarter
yeah,
thing.
no, I know.
I don't believe like, oh, he's smart, like he was cool and da da da. It was just like a more intelligent thing to do.
Yeah, he was.
It's difficult.
I hate to say it, because he was an intelligent person.
Because there's been plenty of bad people throughout history who they were intelligent, but they used their intelligence in horrible ways.
Just like Gacy did here.
Exactly.
What I'm trying to think of is this crawl space, right?
Mm-hmm.
At this point, there's 20 bodies in this
Yep.
crawl space. Can you imagine the smell?
Concrete.
I don't think concrete.
But I'm
covers up
saying, or
decomposing
this
bodies.
smell, you could just be like, I had a possum or something get under there.
An animal died
Yeah.
in the house. Yeah.
I keep having squirrels, skunks, stuff go into the air, and, you know, they die because they get trapped under there.
So, yeah.
The whole crawl space thing just really sucks because it was a really convenient getaway spot for him.
Mm.
For, like, again, the concrete, there's so many alibis you can throw on why you needed the concrete, why you needed to put it in there, why you bought it. Dead animals under the crawl space, that's why it stinks.
Mm-hmm. July 5th, 1977, 19-year-old Matthew Bowman. Oh, wait, I already did that one.
Yeah, you already done.
My bad.
You're good.
September 15th, 1977, 18-year-old Robert Gilroy, the son of a Chicago police sergeant, was killed by Gacy. He lived 4 blocks away from 8213 West Somerdale Avenue. His body was identified on January 6, 1979. Gacy would actually be out of state in Pittsburgh during this time, so they wouldn't suspect him of killing him. And here's my thought. First off, 4 blocks away.
Yeah.
This kid is essentially one of his neighbors.
That is bold.
Another thing, his dad is a police sergeant.
And how old was the kid?
19.
Dude, it's right down the block. Sorry, listeners, I'm opening up lemon pound cake.
Can I get one of those, actually?
Yes.
Thank you.
They're like blueberry lemon pound
Please
cake.
look really good. Sorry, we look. We're talking about some dark stuff here. We gotta
I need
lighten
some
up the
lemon
mood.
cake to lighten the mood.
We gotta lighten the mood somehow, because this stuff we are talking about is
morbid,
and that's putting it lightly. Yeah.
It's again, it's his boldness.
I guess so.
And again, I think it stems from the ego he's dying from killing in the past. Because it doesn't really, other than like the charity stuff, I don't really, me personally, I could think about it more and find a pattern, but I don't really see a pattern between some of the people like that. Like, just, like the random kills, like he decided, seeing the person was like, you're my next victim.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me, sorry. September 25th, 1977, 19-year-old former Marine John Maury was strangled by Gacy. He was identified on January 27, 1979 through dental records.
You said former Marine?
Yeah.
And how old was he?
19. I think he had just gotten out of, like, boot camp or something like that.
I was going to say, because, like, again, it's just it's random targets is all it feels like sometimes.
It's definitely, there's a random pattern to it.
But
you can't nail down how he picks his victims.
It could have, like, it's obviously going to be his attraction too, like, you know, for all the stuff. But I wonder if there's, like, maybe some kind of jealousy in there too.
Yeah.
I can't directly nail it down, but I feel like there was some kind of jealousy in it too of how he picked his victims. Because, you know, like, some of his victims that he knew could have honestly been he was jealous of, like, their father figure. Of having, like, a good dad compared to his childhood.
Yeah. October 17th, 1977, 21-year-old Russell Nelson was last seen outside of a Chicago bar. Gacy murdered him and buried him in the crawl space. His body was identified on January 6, 1979. There was a cloth rag shoved down his throat. His cause of death was suffocation. And that's another thing of his MO. He would shove something down the victim's throat to keep them from breathing. November 10th, 1977, Gacy would murder 16-year-old Robert Winch, buried him in the crawl space. Body was identified on September 11th, 1979. Oh, Jesus Christ. 20-year-old Tommy Balling, I think I said that right, disappeared on November 18th after leaving a Chicago bar. He was later murdered by Gacy. His body was identified on September 11th, 1979.
Random tab. It's kind of weird that he went like a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old, and like 18, 19-year-old. Then he's like a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
And then he's like back to what, a 20-year-old was the last one, 19-year-old?
Yes.
It's kind of weird though, like how he goes from like adult,
teenager,
adult.
Yeah.
It really makes me wonder if like it makes me wonder is again the age thing and everything, and maybe in a way he wanted to like go after that teenager because it was less effort.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds from like in a weird sense he enjoyed the thrill of like going after the older dudes and stuff. Because it makes me think of like maybe he liked in a twisted way he liked that they put up a fight if they were older.
I don't think they really. I'm not sure, but I don't really think that they could put up a fight because what he would usually do is
handcuff. Yeah,
give them alcohol, have them let their guard down, handcuff them, and then ultimately kill them.
It's just like I said. It's weird that again it's like the whole age thing and the twisted thing of like the way his perspective changes of age. But it's just weird that he went adult, teenager, then back to adults.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me kind of wonder what made him do that one. And I still wonder why he done everything, but...
Yeah. December 9th, 1977, 19-year-old Marine David Salma disappeared after telling his mother he was attending a rock concert in Indiana. He was strangled by Gacy. His body was identified on November 16th, 1979, using radiology images. So this guy was going to a concert. I guess he was either hitchhiking his way up to Indiana, or whichever direction Indiana is from Chicago, because I'm bad at geology.
Don't worry, I am too.
Gacy would more than likely end up picking him up, taking him back home, and killed him. December 30th, 1977, Gacy abducted Robert Donnelly from a bus stop in Chicago. Here we are again with another bus stop at gunpoint.
And how old's this dude?
I don't think I had his age down. I forgot to put his age down. That's an error on my part. My fault. Whoops. Gacy would proceed to rape, torture, and drown Donnelly in his bathtub to the point of unconsciousness. After a few hours, Gacy would take Donnelly to his workplace and release him. He told Donnelly that even if he told the cops, they wouldn't believe him.
Let me guess, he was right?
Yes.
Dude!
Yeah. In 1978, Donnelly would report Gacy to police. Police would question Gacy, but he would tell them that he was in a relationship with Donnelly and everything was consensual. Police believed him and no charges were filed.
But see, like, it's weird he didn't kill him. That's where I think it's weird.
That he didn't kill him.
He didn't get his guard down. Then he didn't do the handcuff thing. And he didn't kill him. He brought him in, got his guard down.
He tortured him and drowned him in his bathtub and then let him go.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's lucky because he still went through a lot
of hell.
But he got away with it.
In the hindsight of the previous example of what we have of what Gacy would usually do with people, is he did get lucky in the sense because he survived. Yes, it's
because
hell,
he's alive.
But it's just weird for Gacy to go out of his way in a kind of sense he done something new.
I guess so.
It makes me want to say, again, it's kind of like how it was with the adult, teenager, adult. It's out of his pattern of what he done.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he wasn't getting enough out of what he was doing.
Yeah.
Because in the sense of this one gave him, a physical more... I'm not meaning, intimate, they got, love intimate. More like an intimate, physical... This one gave him a physical gratification.
Mm-hmm.
Like the human touch gratification.
Yeah. I just want to point out real quick, this is all speculation. We are quite literally just spitballing this. The guesses of the gratification and whatnot.
It is.
Because nobody knows
what was going on
through his head except for him. And he is dead.
Yes, I am speculating. I may be going down a little rabbit hole and tangent of my own, but...
We love going through rabbit holes.
It's a really big speculation because, in my opinion and perspective, it really does look like he was going for a physical gratification.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just... in his ego was like, I can get away with it, which he was right. It's just wild. Again... Family Feud buzzard. He attacked me.
Jesus.
Oh, we're in a relationship. Did y'all hear something? No? Let this guy go.
February 16th, 1978, Gacy would kill 19-year-old William Kindred. He had told his fiancée, who knew John Wayne Gacy. This guy's fiancée knew Gacy. That he was going to a bar. Kindred was the last victim to be buried in the crawl space. His body was identified on May 16th, 1979, with a cloth lodged in his throat.
So his fiancée.
His fiancée
knew all about this.
Well, didn't know about it,
but she knew Gacy.
She knew who Gacy was.
Do we know how she knew who Gacy was?
I think Kindred worked with Gacy.
Okay, because it's just baffling that now we have someone mixed in there that knew who Gacy was.
Mm-hmm. March 21st, 1978, Gacy would lure 26-year-old named Jeffrey Rignall into his car. Gacy would knock him out using chloroform and take him to his home. He was restrained and tortured using various instruments such as candle wax and whips.
And let me guess, he let him go?
Rignall would be dumped in Lincoln Park unconscious but alive. Police were informed of the assault but didn't investigate Gacy. I know. I know. Gacy,
Dude.
hang on. Gacy would be arrested for assault and battery against Rignall on July 15th. Then he was let go.
We have examples. How do you, as a police officer, go, oh nah, this guy's good?
Oh, this guy restrained a dude, tortured him for hours, and then dumped his unconscious body in the middle of Lincoln Park. Not in the end, but Lincoln Park in Chicago.
It doesn't even matter.
It doesn't even matter. And they don't think, oh, we should investigate this guy.
How do you?
I'm gonna burst a blood vessel.
Well, at least the people will be able to hear you. I just. How do you not look at this?
Hang on. Did you just say at least people will be able to hear you?
Yeah.
Was that a rip on last week's episode? Where
Yes.
I hate you. You know that?
You snapped it for Jessica. So you can't get mad at me. Though.
No, you're right.
It's, I guess police were built different back then. I don't know.
They needed that. I hope they fired that entire department. I can see the red line on our audio mixer, and I guess we have been talking so loud that it went all the way up. That's kind of crazy.
When you said no, it went all the way up.
That's hilarious.
What's another thing to think about is some of these police officers that would have to look back when Gacy was called for everything.
Man.
That...
Can't even imagine.
Yeah.
I'd retire. By mid-1978, there was no longer room in the crawl space to conceal the bodies. Gacy would reportedly tell police that he would start stowing bodies in the attic, but he decided against it due to the possibility of leakages from the bodies.
Ew.
I did the air quotes again.
Backflip.
He would instead start dumping the bodies near the Des Plaines River. 20-year-old Timothy O'Rourke would be the first victim dumped in the river. He disappeared between June 16th through the 23rd of 1978. He had left his apartment to buy cigarettes. Before he went missing, O'Rourke would tell his roommate about a contractor who offered him a job. His body was identified on January 9th, 1979, from fingerprints and a distinctive tattoo that he had on his body.
You know, it made me think real quick about how old was the dude that he tortured?
26.
Isn't that like his oldest victim so far through like everything?
Yes. His oldest assault victim, not killing victim.
But I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's his oldest like person that he went after. Isn't it kind of weird that the oldest person he didn't kill? It makes me It makes me speculate that it really didn't do it for him and his fetish unless they were like younger, yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, he was a pedophile. So.
Yeah, but it's I understand at the end of the day, but it's a really it's just a fascinating, not like obsessive fascinating, but that he went, because the way it sounds is he tried to go after an older person. Like he thought it would do the same thing for him.
But it didn't.
Yeah, and that's why he let him go. Again,
speculation. We have no idea why he let him go. Man, that's all I can say. This is the good thing is that we're almost done with the victims. We're almost
Yay!
November 4th, 1978, 19-year-old Frank Landigan was last seen walking along Foster Avenue by his father. He was killed by Gacy and dumped near the Des Plaines River. His cause of death was suffocation. His body was identified on November 14th, 1978 from fingerprints. His own underwear was lodged in his throat.
Dude, that's wild.
I can't even formulate a sentence.
So, do they know how he was transporting them? Was he just transporting them in his car?
Yeah.
Or would he like do this at night and stuff?
He would kill them at his house, and then put their body. I think for one of the bodies, he left it under his bed and slept over it, and then would dump the body the next day.
It's a wild.
How can you do that?
It's a wild parallel, but you got to think when he was younger, what drove him to go home was laying in the coffin with a dead dude.
You're right. You're so right. Yeah, that was last yeah. Oh my, wow. I didn't even make that connection.
Cause like it's not you in speculation, like hindsight, you're like, oh my goodness, but if you think about it, he had no issue being close to death.
Right.
And I think part of the spiral was him working at the
the mortuary?
Yeah. He was around death every day, and he even got the thought in his head to lay with a dead dude.
Dear Lord. November 24th, 1978, 20-year-old James Mazzara would disappear after Thanksgiving dinner with his family. Yeah, that's rough. That's really rough.
Dude, like...
He had informed his sister he was working in construction the day before and was last seen walking in the direction of Bughouse Square. Gacy would admit strangling Mazzara and dumping his body near the Duplain River. His body was found on December 30th, 1978.
So, just a random... With all his victims, he was still using the knot thing, right? With all of them?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Jeez.
Dude, that...
Thanksgiving Day.
Like, seeing your loved one on Thanksgiving and then them going missing...
The next day and not being found until after Christmas.
I will say it's more of a thing that he was found sooner than like freaking 20, 30 years later.
Yeah. Gacy's final victim would be 15-year-old Robert Peast. On December 11th, 1978, Gacy would visit the Nissen Pharmacy in Duplain to discuss a remodel with the store's owner. While he was near Peast, he would mention how the firm would often hire teenage boys at the wage of $5 per hour, which was double the wage that Peast was making at the pharmacy. That's a crazy thought that he had mentioned while he was in earshot of Peast, that he usually offers jobs to younger boys and teenagers.
Yeah.
After he got off work, Peast would ask his mother to wait, saying, "Some contractor wants to talk to me about a job." He left around 9 p.m., promised her he'd be back shortly. He never returned. The sad part about this one, not saying that none of this is sad.
Yeah, it's still tragic.
It was his mom's birthday when he went missing. The day he went missing, it was his mom's birthday, and they were going home to celebrate.
Dude, that...
Yeah. He was murdered shortly after 10 p.m. at Gacy's home by strangulation. Gacy would claim that Peast was crying and scared when he placed the rope around his neck. Gacy had gotten a call from a business associate as Peast was dying. So he was on the phone with somebody as this kid was dying next to him.
That's...
His body was identified on April 9th, 1979 through dental records. Man.
And that was his last victim?
That was his last victim.
So, since we've finished up the victims, and it's a very tragic thing, do we want to go ahead and end out the episode?
Man. Yeah, I think... I hate to say that's a good stopping point, but we are almost an hour and 15 minutes into our recording. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. I hate to end us on a tragic note like that, but
I think if we start going now, it'll be a 2-hour episode.
I think the good thing is that we're almost done with this case. We both knew that this was going to be a multi-parter episode series.
After I got the text of Gabe, I'm a genius, and it was an 11-page thing.
No, okay, the Gabe I'm a genius thing was because of a logo, the logo that I made. And even then, the logo that I made was with the help of one of my friends. Shout out to Tanis, because she really helped me out making that logo, because I had no idea how to make a logo until then. Goated. She's great. Yeah, I guess the good thing is that we're done with the victims. We have one more part that we need to do. Because we still have I think it's three pages left.
Yeah.
And it's going to be his trial and how he got captured and stuff like that.
I'm ready to see what his downfall was.
Dude, I'm ready.
Captured.
I'm ready to be done with this case.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
The victim part was horrendous.
I don't know about you, but this is even doing the research.
I assume it's gut wrenching.
I felt sick. Even reading it today, I felt sick to my stomach. But man, we won't be. So, the next episode won't be out next week because I have personal things that I have going on. So, not next Sunday, but the Sunday after, we will have the final part of the John Wayne Gacy series. Stick around. Thanks again, everybody, for listening. My lord.
Outing yourself over there.
Yeah, I am. We appreciate everybody for listening. We hope you have a great week. We will see you all again in 2 weeks for the final part of John Wayne Gacy. So, from Beau
and Gabe,
stay safe and watch the clock.